Robert Plank Show, episode 137, Intuitive Business Insights with life strategy and business coach Sasha from SashaTalks.com. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Robert Plank Show. We're here today with Sasha from SashaTalks.com, and she's a seasoned MBA professional who specializes in organizational and human behavior, which grants her a broad base from which to approach many topics. Hey Sasha, welcome to the show.
Hi, Robert. Thank you for having me.
So can you tell me about what it is that you do and what makes you special?
What makes this special? Well, I have two parallel career paths. My initial career path has to do with business. I have a bachelor's from Boston University with business and also an MBA in global management. So I started out along my corporate career path where I do a lot of business development and research in the market. And that is how I work corporate contracts, helping out executives streamline their business plans and help them with their corporate strategy. On the other side, I also initially started out Sasha Talks, where I was selling spiritual counseling services. So you're doing readings and it's more metaphysical work. And then a common person would say, well, those two interests are really polarizing because one is really rational and judgmental, and the other one is a little bit really fluid and it cannot be measured. And it got to a point where Sasha Talks started growing at a faster rate than I had anticipated, that I had merged my business consulting services onto Sasha Talks so I could standardize the audience and I wouldn't be chasing two different worlds at the same time.
Okay, so how did any of this kind of come to be? Like I know you said that you have this business background and you have this website, but I mean, how did you get your counseling clients and things like that?
Okay, well, Sasha Talks was already a part of idea and theory by the time 2008 came along. But when the economy started going down, a lot of my corporate opportunities started getting downsized because of budget. That I told myself that what are some skill sets that I haven't fully capitalized upon? And that's when Sasha Talks was launched. And I went out and I was doing radio shows, podcasting, and at the same time I was employed by third-party websites where you get to dispense your services. So whether people are paying you per the minute or buying small packages to talk to you on the phone or for online chat. And at that time, I was spread thin between 5, 6 different platforms, which are websites owned by private owners, and that was providing a form of income. But it got to a point where I said that if I'm already helping other people out through third-party websites, why can I not do that through my own? And at that time, I slowly started marketing Sasha Talks, and it picked up momentum through Blog Talk Radio, DBS Radio, and basically doing a lot of speaking engagements where you're marketing yourself out there. You're giving people samples of your work. You don't have to work for free, but you also have to encourage people to invest their resources in you. And slowly through that, it picked up momentum, and I've gotten this far because of word of mouth. Because the best referral or best compliment you could get is a referral. And if people have tried you out and they've paid you for your service, they'll share the good news with other people. But if you have bad news, it will travel faster. So you have to be mindful of what type of publicity are you attracting. Even though you cannot control the perception of the audience, at the end of the day, keep at it and be consistent in what you're offering.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, and I like a couple of things about that. I like that, first of all, when you saw that people like the economic downturn and you saw people getting downsized, you said, "Well, I have this skill. You know, like you're a good speaker, or you can fill out someone's business." And you just said, "Well, now I'm gonna kind of change things up a little bit so that now I can kind of replace these business clients that I'm losing." And the other thing that I like too is that is your use of these these third party websites. So you said that, so yeah, you have word of mouth, and then you get traffic from having like a blog talk radio show. Is that, I mean, is there anything else that you look for as far as the traffic you send to your website?
Other than that, also when I ran Sasha Talks, I think Sasha Talks has hosted 3 different blogs up to date. And the latest blog highlights all of the guests that I host on the platform. Initially, the blog had to do with love and relationships because for some reason, a lot of women and men usually don't talk about it out loud, have this interest in exploring their love lives and they want to have that looked into. It's usually love and relationships, career, and sometimes they want to know a little bit about their life path, exploring about what goes on within themselves when it comes to the spiritual services. And of course, there is a gray area because those readings fall under the entertainment realm. I'm not delivering a science. It's not a formula. There are so many different spiritualists out there that focus on different types of services. So I have to make that clear. And then on the business aspect of it, before I started doing professional coaching, I was doing academic coaching. So it gave me an opportunity to slowly merge different types of coaching that I was doing and complement that with Sasha Talks. So it's not completely entertainment platform, but it's also a very hands-on, tactical tool that people could apply in their lives if they choose to.
And that sounds pretty cool, and that sounds like something that can help a lot of people. So can you kind of walk us through? So if someone, so say someone like they hear about you from some other website or word of mouth, and they say, okay, I want to hire Sasha for to figure out my career path or something. What's the process someone goes through once they hear from you, they go to the website, what are the steps they take?
Well, if they go on the contact page, there's a drop down for requesting a certain type of service, and I will follow up with them. Usually they hear back from me within 2 to 3 days max. Usually I try to do it within 24 hours. And then I ask them a couple of preliminary questions to gauge their interest and if they happen to be the right clientele that I work with, because I will only work with people who are ready to take action in their life. They're serious about it, and they're not just fooling around because they're bored and they're just sending out requests to find out what services are available. Because even though a lot of people have money out there and they're willing to pay you, I'm not only out there for the money, but I want the satisfaction that they're making the right investment. And when they walk away, they could say that working with Sasha was worthwhile because I learned a lot and now I'm applying what she shared with me. Sometimes people are under the impression as, I hate my job, I want this to happen, how come I don't have love in my life? Let me go to a coach or a spiritualist, pay them, and overnight they're going to fix my life. The fixing can only be done by the client. I could only provide you with the ingredients and the tools of how to go about fixing it, or how to about finding your perfect career opportunity, or how to have a healthy relationship, how to attract money, how to build a business. Those are things that can be taught to a degree, but if the person doesn't want to apply it, it says they never came to me and they'll be out of money.
So basically, you have this initial meeting to figure out if they're coachable and if there's someone that you'll actually feel fulfilled with by meeting with them, I guess.
Yes, because I'm looking for results. And initially when I started out, I think I was a bit more hopeful that you are more invested in your client's well-being, but I would find clients that didn't care that much. They thought that I could just go to one person, have one-time meeting, pay them, and they'll fix my life problems, but it doesn't quite work that way. So it's more of an engagement, and it's a two-way street, that I am there to help you, I'm there to coach you. But at the end of the day, once they walk away, I want to make sure that they're able to sustain the level of success that they want once they achieve it.
And that makes a lot of sense. So you can only kind of show them the way. So you have this first meeting, and then if you decide that they want to move forward, then what's the next step?
Once we decide that we'll be working together, then I give them a handful of questions, and then we start our sessions, whether it's on Skype, chat, or phone, and then I work them through their whether they have their challenges and stuff that they want to learn new stuff about. But typically, when clients come to me, they want lately the questions I get have to do with entrepreneurship. How do I take the first step? And part of it that I usually drill into them is that plan ahead of time. You can't go to work on a Monday morning if you're working corporate and thinking, I hate my job, I'm going to run out and just start a business. All of that requires planning and a process. Then there's the other hand where I meet people where they plan so much to become an entrepreneur, but they haven't put any of the plan into action. So it says they haven't taken any steps to move away from being dependent on whether it's corporate America or any third party that's providing them with an income. And you have to learn how to strike a balance, but also have to explain to people that want to make a change of why it's necessary to take action. Because I know a lot of people who will plan, but they will not take any action.
So what's the fix for that?
Typically, I ask them what is holding them back and what are the emotional blocks within them. It could be anxiety, fear, because you can understand anxiety. If you're getting paid biweekly, you're going to go from getting paid biweekly to whenever you make your first sale. And the goal that entrepreneurship has to do with not only working for yourself, but having the passion that will drive you to the point to creating consistent form of income. And unless they could answer those tough questions, I cannot help them because it's one of those things. You could give a person who needs help all of the resources out there in the world, but if they're not ready to take that leap of faith, it's as they haven't done anything yet. They need to feel emotionally secure to say that I'm going to take that leap of faith, and no matter what happens or what the outcome is, I could live with it.
So how does someone get to that point?
I feel that some of my clients get to that point with time. And not just time heals, because I think time accommodates. Once somebody brings to your attention of what is holding you back, what do you fear, and as long as you know how to plan and you have a contingency plan and you have the right support telling you that you have a good idea, now this is the time to take those steps. If you have the wrong people surrounding you, whether it's friends or family or people who care for you, and you want to be an entrepreneur, but your idea, I don't like to say it sucks, a lot of people will hold their true opinions back and kind of set up that person to fail because they don't want to be that messenger. If people are entitled to their opinions, it doesn't mean that a potential entrepreneur has to agree with them, but you need someone to give you objective and honest feedback. Because at the end of the day, I don't have anything vested in there. I'm not investing money in them. I'm investing tools in them, and I want them to do well.
So would you say that that's a big part of what you do, just being that objective person, and maybe not being not being mean on purpose, but also not just telling them what they want to hear?
Right, and I will say that my strategy is tough love, but I'm not someone who's loud, vulgar, or into yelling or any of that. But I do bring an alternative perspective where I ask them all these questions that says, what are you going to do if this doesn't work out? What is your backup plan if you get rejected for funding? Do you have a business plan? Do you even know the market that you're selling to? All of these questions that they should be able to have an idea, because sometimes people are in love with the idea of starting a business, but they have no clue where to begin, which is okay. Like, they have to do their own homework. And paying a stranger can only get you so far, but on a bad day, let's say if you're working for yourself and the economy goes bust and you can't afford all of the talent around you, you still need to know how to run your own home. You still need to know how to run your own business. So somebody has to come in and say, have you thought about these things? And of course, with everything that we do in our life, no matter how many years you've been working for yourself, there's always something new that we learn in the process. But you can't depend on other people forever.
Right. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. So So out of everything we talked about today, or maybe there's something else, but I mean, you have all these coaching clients, and some of them are like uncertain about transitioning out of a day job, or some of them have these missing pieces in their business. Do you see a common problem or like a number one problem that you keep seeing over and over with these coaching and consulting clients you have?
One of my pet peeves is that usually they pay too much attention to what everybody else is doing, that they jump on the bandwagon without even questioning, do I need to do what my competitor is doing? Do I need to do what my friend is doing? Or my family member told me that it works out perfect for them, so I should do it too. Is that I want individuals to question things that they're exposed to, question the information that comes their way, question the source. People may mean well, but at the end of the day, if you're putting up your own resources, your own money, and you run dry, you don't want to be standing there alone in bankruptcy court blaming everybody else. So I would say just be accountable for the financial decisions you make, be accountable for the people that you bring into your professional path. You don't get to control who comes in or leaves, but be responsible for those who become part of your business. Because at the end of the day, you're the one putting the food on the table.
I like that, and yeah, I like that whole message because I mean I think that it's really easy to get bullied and kind of get pushed around by someone else's opinions that it's easy for them to make because that doesn't affect them, but it sure as heck affects you.
Yes, and even though it is business, you should bring your passion and your energy into it, but to keep your emotions in check, because sometimes people get so emotional, for better or worse, that they forget to be rational when you have to make these decisions. They get caught up in the moment, and then they might realize, you never know. Somebody goes to the bank and they end up walking out with a larger loan that they need, and later in time they realize that I didn't need all that money and I don't have the resources to pay it back. Or they get so excited with a friend doing business that they're not well equipped to navigate through the friendship when the times get rough because business is getting in the way. So there's so many different variables about balancing the rational and the emotional aspect of uh, running a business and living your life day to day.
Interesting. So it sounds like a big part of all this. I mean, it seems like there are a lot of things that can trip people up, but having that objective person to talk to and listen to sounds like it's super important. And then I like the way that you explain the way that you do your coaching, that you don't just necessarily, tell someone what to do, but you kind of ask all the right questions and get them to think things through about their life and about their business.
Yes, and I want people to know that even if they go seek out a coach or spiritualist or whichever type of professional, to know that they are qualified to grant you guidance, and that to always question your source. It doesn't mean that it's a one-way type of communication. If they come to me, they could ask me questions of what my thoughts are. But at the end of the day, I always tell them it's not what Sasha will do or what your friend will do or what your family member will do. You are the one making the decisions, and you have to live with the ramifications. And you have to feel comfortable in your own skin. And if you feel you're getting bullied by people, then chances are high that you need to change the type of people you're seeking information from or doing business with because you're working for yourself. And if you don't feel comfortable in your own home, per se, then something is wrong.
Oh yeah, I mean it's hard to disagree with that one. So kind of along those lines, as far as people who, if someone out there, if they want to make a change, they want to fix things, they want to get a coach, they want to read about what you have to say, and they want to find out all about Sasha, where can they go and where should they go to find out all that information?
Sure, they're welcome to go to sashatalks.com. And so even though they don't need a session or a package of sessions, because I'm not in the business of keeping people to become a forever client, I'm there just to help them. And I always treat each client as if we are not meant to meet again, this is what I'm parting with, so they know how to proceed forward. Or if they need a critique for their business or something, I am available again at sashatalks.com.
Awesome. So thanks for sharing what you have. Not only sharing what you have to say about people helping themselves, but I also like the little behind the scenes bit about how you kind of adapted yourself and kind of adjusted a coaching business so that it would continue to grow even when the whole outside world changed on you. So, I mean, pretty cool stuff. SashaTalks.com. Thanks for being on the show, Sasha.
Thank you, Robert, for having me.
Thanks, Sasha, for being on the show. And you out there listening, go to robertplank.com/iTunes or just search Robert Plank Show in your podcast player. And be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Thanks again.